streaming. Right, share the screen. I hope this is visible to both of you. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I will see that. Right, this is what today's class is: soil classification and soil orders. Classification is nothing but taxonomy. We are going to discuss about taxonomy. Today's lecture, we will discuss about very limited points, and I mean, we will go very slowly, step by step. Constantly, we will listen. Very first, students, early system. This is what actually I am discussing. Early system means early system of classification. There are many system of classification. What is those? Economic classification, mostly for the taxation purpose. They have used this type of classification. And another one is called physical classification, which I have discussed it mostly based on the physical structure, aggregates, etc. Based on the physical conditions like sandy, loamy, clay, and sometimes based on structure, single grain soils, aggregated soils, like that. They have given some sort of physical classification. And later on, become chemical classification also came based on the some calcareous conditions, calcareous soils, siliciferous soils, alkaline soils, acid soils, etc. They have came across this sort of early system of classification. I think no need to much go on explanation regarding this. And another one is called geological classification. In geological classification, they have classified as transported soils, which we have read in our early lectures. What is transported deposits and sediments, and residue, that is sediments, underlying sediments, residue or sedentary soils. Sedentary soils means the soils which form in the same area. So this is one type of classification by geological studies. And another one is called physiographic classification. Physiographic classification, nothing but students. It is a topographic based on the landscape consideration, soil level, topographic conditions. This physiographic classification was given. This is one type of classification. These are all early system of classification. Later on, we came with other type of classifications. What are those? I think organic matter, like organic soils, inorganic soils, based on the climatic conditions. Arid soils, humid soils, subhumid soils, and based on vegetation, peri soils, grassland soils, forest soils, etc., etc. They came, etc. All these type of classifications, and other systems, mostly other system classifications. These were all varied from time to time. There a lot of changes were came. So based on the organic matter, you saw organic, inorganic, and based on structure, single grain, aggregate. So all this early system of classification are very simple, and there is no much scientific background in those days. But later on, students, later on some changes will happen. Reason system is for those times. In 1900s, Joffrey and Margaret, these people came across 19th and early 20th century. These people have came, and they have this completely. They have given the generality concept. Generality concept. Especially Turkish was completely given the generality concept, and there are some properties like some morphological. Marbert had given some morphological classification. He included generality also. Morphogenetic emphasis for the need of the examination of choice. When after the early system of classification, Ducky Chow and Marbert and Joffrey, these people came and they have classified based on the generality and based on the soil own properties. So soil own properties means like soil color, texture, that morphological characters are given. And also Marbert also emphasized some pedoclase, that pedons also they considered many things. So like this, Dokicha came with generality classification. Marbert came morphogenetic classification. That means he taken the generality concept from Russian school. He was highly inspired by the Dokicha classification also. That's why Marbert was defects the major defects. And what are the major defects? So it was completely assumption, students. It was completely given only assumptions concerning the soil system, and most of his soil series is not recognized by the scientists. Is it okay? Is it audible, students? My voice?
Yes, sir.
I will share the screen again. So where we have missed, I think we have missed here. Reason system of soil classification.
Yes, sir. Morbid morphogeny.
Yeah, we are in Marbet. Marbet came with some sort of classification, a lot of defects. But today we will see what are their contribution to the soil taxonomy. Okay, students. So with later on, Balverdin and associates, they have made some revisions. They have made some sort of finishing for the Marbet morphogenic classification. What I elaborate, they have given some what are there. The important character systems are they retain the generality concept. Yes, concept also and more emphasis. They're given some emphasis that for the first time they have seen the soil as three-dimensional body. They have seen the soil as three-dimensional body, and also they included many categories like soil family. They introduced the soil groups. All these things will be appear in journalities too. Nowadays, no one is reading this concept, but I will show the very importance of this soil family. They introduce soil group, soil series, all these things. They have given some sort of Balverdin and genetic approach has given one sort of approach. They have made some changes, but even though it was not successful, this is what the order of the zonal soils, intrazonal soils. These are the modified by these are modified. These are the modified. Relation this problem. All these problems, Thorne and Smith also had given some sort of table forms. They are given in those days. Great soil means their classification will be like this: tundra soil, desert soil, red soil. In great soil group, they will keep all these things, and some general corresponding classes in those their classes. So this is regarding the morphogenity, the Balverdin and the Balverdin atoms classification, 1938. This quite changes made in a you know Marbert classification, and later on, genetic approach was came. This is what actually this is the major theme of Durkheim. That is, if you read the Durkheim's contribution, if you read his words in soil science, that is why he was considered as a father of soil pedagogy, soil science, because he given a lot of his definitions was completely based on the correct reasonings, and he given a proper, though in those days, though there is no that much scientific advancement, he came very close to his soil science approach. And so he given some had three orders. What are those? Zonal, intrazonal, azonal. This is called the Russian zonality concept. This zonality concept was later on was highly influenced by the many researchers like Balverdin, like especially Margaret. All these people have completely influenced. So in zonal soils, what is in zonal soils? We can see there is a complete soils. Here you can see Pakka, there is a highly influence of parent Midland climate, and climate and vegetation influence was very high. Soils was well developed in zonal soils. Conditions were come because soils were completely supportive to the climatic conditions, and they have distributed in a proper climatic situation. Mostly we can say what are the special laterite soils, sport soils, Sherma zone, sport soils, all this we have read in our pedogenic process. So here you can see one proper profile will be there in zonal soils. Whereas interzonal soils, here some local conditions will be there. Sometimes some problems like salinity problem, some excess soils will be there, and some problems will be there. Some excess soils or some local conditions, topographic situation. If it is very high land, it is very high land. Is what you can see. All the soil, all the producer soil patch was completely lost. It will be lost. It will all the soil conditions will be lost. Proper profile development will be very less. So like this, we can see into one top of in lowland, we can see all the silt, sand, everything was whichever were washed out in the upper land will be set in the lowland. So some low conditions. Whereas azonals, here you can see very poor development. Here you can see time is a very limiting factor. Soils was very young, there is no time was very limiting factor. There is no development. The young soils will be there without there is no any horizonation differentiation. So mostly these soils very limiting factor and was placed in mostly horizon. There is this group include young soils without horizon differentiation. So these soils could not be grouped in any one of these two orders, and was placed in separate order known as azonal. So that is called azonal. What are the example? Alluvial soil. So the alluvial soil means always will be deposited by the water. So soil origination was very difficult in this type of soils. That is so they kept all these soils in azonal conditions. And in these three orders also, you can see 9 suborders, and they were based on the specific climatic conditions and regions, and they divided, and there is a lot of each suborder again divided into great soil groups, again it's first journals, and later on they have divided into 9 suborders. All those 9 suborders was again divided into great soil groups, have an expression of more specific conditions. In 9 suborders, what they will do, they will see the specific climatic conditions in very azonal zonal concept. They will see what is a profile condition, etc. In and in suborders, what they will see, they will see the climatic conditions. In great soil groups, they will go in deep conditions. In deep conditions, they will go very specific soils. Again, great soil groups again subdivided into numerous soil series and soil types, etc. Will go like this. The classification the hierarchy will be done by like this in the zonality soil approach. But there are a lot of there are a lot of defects are there. Mostly, this zonality concept was completely depend upon the which property, students, which property. Why the zonality approach was not successful in soil classification? Any idea? Do you have any idea?
External properties. He didn't consider the soil properties.
That means soil properties, which were present soil properties. So actually, zonality concept is some extent, if you see very properly, think it is very good. But the major problem is that zonality concept didn't consider the present soil morphogenic properties. This is a major problem. So without considering that, how can we use for our regular day-to-day purpose? This is one sort of drawback. And most of the soils was completely, all these great soil group, the so-called great soil groups are completely depend upon the environmental factor only. They given more importance on environmental factors than on the soil properties. So by classifying the soils itself, there is no value for the soil properties in great groups, but they given more importance to the environmental factors. This is one property. And also, students, if you see arable soils, there is no proper, there is a big confusion. There is a big confusion in arable soils. Which soil is called virgin soils, which are not cultivated, because not confusion is there. And also, the nomenclature is very difficult, students. The words are very difficult. Even frankly speaking, I didn't read the generality concept up to in my life. Up to present, I didn't read. Because there is no chance, there is no need for read all those concepts. So this, according to my knowledge and readings, this nomenclature was very difficult. Pronunciation, etc., is very difficult. So for the communication purpose, it's very difficult. And also, these people are given more importance to the color and vegetation only than the soil properties for giving some nomenclature. They given only coloring. What is the color? What is the type of vegetation is grown? Then giving that, and neglected other soil properties in giving names. This is one type of property. And also, results and interpretation. We can't interpret between the soil properties. Interpretation is comparing this. We can't go any proper scientific study in zonality concept. So these are some defects, some problems in genetic system. That's why this system was not that much successful. In very short term, this zonality concept was filed away by the Margaret. And so based on all those problems, today we are reading this new comprehensive system of classification. This is called the original soil taxonomy. So I think this is in